Hello, everyone. Welcome. I hope everyone's doing fantastic tonight. Please let me know if you can hear and see me okay.
Ready to start eating healthier?
Let me just turn off the sound there. Okay. So I'm waiting for Andre. What I am thinking happened, because we are in very different time zones, is that he got the time mixed up. So if he comes in late, I will certainly let him in. I know that he has a good reason. So, sometimes these things happen, right? So hello, Light Vocation, Creating Your Life Consciously, Valerie, Bebez, Gertrude, Rosemary. Welcome, everybody. So I hope everyone's doing great on this Friday evening. It's pleasant here in New England. It's warm. It's a bit humid, a little sticky, but not bad. So I have some questions, and I do have my laptop in front of me. If you see me looking down, that's what that is. Hi, Nancy, Vicki, Juno, Ivana, Elvie, Lisa, Sharon. Yeah, I'm doing great today. Despite the fact that my eyes look kind of irritated, don't they? Because the pollen count is incredibly high right now. So, right, one of the joys of summer. Um, but welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me. For taking the time to be with me this evening. I do appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share, check out membership. My website is dianneaquarius.com if you're interested in a reading. And let me tell you, I will never solicit you for a reading. I know that people impersonate all of us YouTubers all the time. I will never do that because I'm booked so far out anyways. It wouldn't make sense. So let's get right to it. So as you know, the Secret Service deleted texts, right? They deleted texts from January 5th and 6th. So when the Oversight Committee requested those texts, they were gone. Everybody remember that? We just found out recently. And here's the thing that strikes me about all of that. Do you remember when Biden first became president and he did not trust the existing Secret Service? Now, I know they're trying to say, oh, this is just sort of protocol. Of course, we just, erase very important texts. I don't believe that. And first of all, the Secret Service is very insulted by this accusation. So just to be really clear, but they're saying it was not malicious. It was simply an accident. But I thought, why don't we see what the cards have to say? See if it lines up with what my intuition feels and what I know a lot of you are feeling. Tell me put in the comments, how many of you are thinking the same thing I'm thinking? That it was not an accident. This was deliberate. Give the cards a really nice shuffle. Yes, I'm seeing all these yeses pop up. Yes, right? Yes, yes. Yeah, Butterfly says no accident. Lisa says not an accident. Right. I mean, come on. Oh, look at the cards get jumpy. Okay, so let's take a peek here. First card, the Magician card. So this is one of the two cards that talk about controlling an issue, because magic doesn't just happen by happenstance, right? The magician has to take control, and he takes control of the situation, right? He doesn't just sit there and he's laid back. No, he takes control of the situation, and that's how he manifests what he desires. The obstacle, oh, they're not celebrating right now. Three of Cups. They're saying, oh boy, we messed up. We got caught. Now, isn't it interesting that people that must be rather educated, must be, I would think, astute, would think that they could get away with this, that nobody would ever question? Did they really think that this insurrection would have worked and it would have been all fine? But now look, and I don't even do very many reversals, but Eight of Cups, they want to walk away from this, and look, they can't. They can't walk away from it. Oh gosh, and look at this. It creates a tower moment. It creates a tower moment, right? So everything's going to fall apart for them. Okay, so this is certainly a PR issue, right? This is not making them look good, but it also is an issue for all of us that believe in transparency and freedom. respect, that sort of thing, right? So if you're worried about them getting away scot-free, it's not going to happen. The cards are literally saying they can run, but they can't hide. Welcome to everyone that keeps coming in. Almost 400 of you already. Not bad for a lovely Friday evening, right? I know there's lots of things that you could be doing. I know around here we have like a big carnival that's going to be coming soon, and I look forward to going to that and just having fun. So another big thing that came up just yesterday, Ivana Trump passed. Now, what I didn't know until right before I went on, because they didn't give a cause of death, it was just sort of assumed, I think, that she had had a heart attack maybe, but nobody actually gave the cause of death. Does anybody know what they're saying is the cause of death? It's actually blunt force trauma. She was having hip and leg problems. She couldn't walk for about 2 weeks. She was having difficulty leaving her house, and she took a fall down the stairs at the age of 73. So SJ is asking, is Ivana's passing a domino in Trump's life? That is the actual reason, SJ, that I'm reading on this. Because what else can I really say? It's too new to talk to her. She's still getting used to not having a body. There's no sense in me trying to do any mediumship with her. But I think this is like starting off this chain reaction where it's like, it's just going to be one thing after the next, after the next, after the next now. So let's take a look at what this means for 45, okay? Yeah, she was able, I guess, to get out here and there, but I guess it wasn't good. It wasn't pretty. Her friend came out and said, she was having major difficulties walking. Yeah, creating your life consciously. I agree that your instincts tell you that Ivana was very critical in 45's life. Yeah, she was outspoken. She actually said some pretty terrible things, didn't she? And I think most of us rather believe her, right? So what does this mean for 45? Yeah, Suzanne, I agree. It's going to affect him in the negative. This, to me, is of the beginning of the end for him now. I don't know why this is the catalyst. I just feel like this is the start of it, and here we go, So let's take a look at oh my gosh. So look at the first card. So if you've been watching me right along since the beginning of all this, you know that this is one of my cards of 445, right? It's a card of greed, of sin, lustfulness. But also too, when you look at it, it's also a card of being chained down. And instead of choosing to break free of the devil, these two characters become like the devil. So they're becoming victims by choice. And so this is why this is one of my cards for him. And yeah, and obviously it's a negative card. There's not a lot of positive connotations to the devil. The obstacle is, oh boy, he's at a crossroads. So everyone like me who's thinking, oh, this is a catalyst, this is like a domino effect. Yep, this is like the beginning. He's at the crossroads. This is a 2, right? So 2 means that he's at the beginning of all of this now, where it's going to be one thing after the next. He's going to have decisions to make, but he's not going to want to make them. And what are these decisions going to pertain to? The government, legal issues. Here's the Hierophant. So he's going to be having more legal issues. And a lot of it's going to be centered around relationships that he's had. Okay, Ace of Cups. So some of these relationships that he's had, and I'm thinking, when I say this, I'm specifically thinking Russia, okay, and Vladimir, that this is going to become a problem. And how many times do we get this card when I read on 45? How many times? We get the 10 of Swords. He's feeling betrayed. He's feeling stabbed in the back. He's the victim, right? Nobody else. He's the victim. And so, yes, that's why I decided to read on Ivana, not because, anything to necessarily do with her per se. I was just feeling like, oh, this is the beginning of something. This is just the beginning of something here. And I think this is where we start to come into that point. Remember, I was telling you a long time ago, there's going to be a point where we just get sick of hearing and seeing him on TV. Like it's just going to be too much. This is that point that I think we're coming into. Let me just take a sip here. Thank you, Marie. That's very kind. So, Bannon, how can we not talk about Steve Bannon? So, as you may or may not know, because this just happened, the judge denied him delaying the contempt of Congress trial. He tried putting it off. I mean, I don't know what good putting it off is going to do, right? I mean, this isn't going to go away. Congress doesn't go away. A contempt hearing doesn't go away. So I don't know what he thought he was going to get by delaying it. But I mean, it's a typical 45 tactic, right? Delay, and see what you can do. But he did get denied that. And so it begins Monday. So let's take a look at Steve Bannon. Yep, I agree with you, Candy. He does need to go away because he did wrong, you know, and when you do something like that, you have to pay for your actions. And especially with him, you know how I always say you have freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequences? Isn't he the embodiment of that? You can say whatever you like, but it has consequences. And he really has been shooting his mouth off, which is going to hurt him. It's going to hurt 45. It's going to hurt the people around them. Even though I think it helps us because the truth is coming out. Okay, let's take a look here. The cards are super jumpy with him. Okay. Oh, okay, first card, 5 of Swords, the card of the ruthless battle, the card of abuse of power. And this character, everybody knows what he's saying, right? He's looking back and he's saying, was it worth it? And how could Bannon ever say, because I know I can see what's coming. I think we all can, right? The writing's on the wall with this one. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. His obstacle, finances. Oh, thank you so much, Bernadette, for your donation. I really appreciate that. You know, when you guys donate, it does help me to make better videos. So thank you. So Bannon's obstacle is money that he has received, money that he has taken. Okay. And this is a page. And so pages deliver news. So that is also another obstacle. The news, the messages that we are going to be hearing about him in regards to money that he has taken. Okay. He's going to try to pull back, withdraw, retreat. You know, this is also a card of ill health. And I say that mainly because I've read on him so often. I've gotten this card for him so often. Yes, I know this card can be a card of like introspection, reflection, meditation. I don't think he's reaching enlightenment anytime soon. I take this more as ill health and he wants to retreat, but I don't know how much he's really going to be able to. He has decisions in front of him that he does not want to make. He does not like these choices. So that makes me think that they're going to try to make him some offers, get him to make some deals, give up some info, and he's not going to want to do that. But also, like the Secret Service, here we go. He wants to walk away. He wants to just flee the situation, right? Get out of Dodge, and he can't. And so isn't it interesting now that this is starting to become a theme tonight, that these people want to go and they can't. They're not going anywhere. They can't. They're being held accountable. Oh, look, I have 555 of you watching. 555. 5 is the number of change, right? It's a great number in numerology. Oh, so I see some of you asking about Andre. I believe what happened is he got the time mixed up. We're in very different time zones, and you know, sometimes things happen. So we will just collaborate again. That's all. You know, I mean, that's all you can do in life, right? You just have to keep going, and no worries. We all love Andre. So Pat Cipollone, oh my goodness. So, you know, he testified for 8 hours, right? But we didn't get to see everything. We only got like little dribs and drabs. And so we want to hear the rest of it. We want to know the rest because it's becoming apparent that what he testified to corroborated with Cassidy Hutchinson's stories. Okay, the things that she was saying, that it's all coming together. And so I think when everything's said and done, Pat Cipollone is going to be a huge problem for 45. So I thought we could take a look to see how big of a problem he is going to be for 45. If you haven't hit the like button already, if you could, that would be fantastic, because it does help my algorithm so the videos get seen. Videos need to be interacted with. If not, nobody sees them. So, comment, say hi, talk to other people, hit the like button, that sort of thing. Okay, let's see. How big of a problem is this for 45? Okay. So the card of community support. So he may not be getting the support that he thinks that he's getting, okay? 3 of Pentacles. So he may think, oh, Pat will stick up for me. He's not going to say anything to hurt me in any way, but I think he's going to be honest, Pat Cipollone, that is, and I think he's going to talk and not give 45 the support he thought he was going to get. Obstacle, 3 of Cups. 45, not celebrating, not having good times with friends. This is not a time of parties for him. I think he feels really miserable, to be honest with you. He's going to try to hold it together. He's also going to be pinching his pennies. So this kind of tells us too, when somebody is really trying to pinch their pennies, hold on to money in a legal situation, that things aren't going well for them, right? We also get the Hierophant again. Having issues with the law, having legal issues with the government. And here he is. Okay, this kind of backs up what I was, saying at the beginning of this part of the reading, that he's not getting the support that he thought he was going to get. Here he is all alone on the hill, trying to do battle, but he's not getting the support. So once again, I think a lot of things are happening right now to 45 that are just causing this cascading. It's like a waterfall almost, where it's just all starting to go, it's flowing, but in the wrong direction for 45 to have any peace of mind, let's say. Hello to everyone that just came in. Oh my gosh, there's over 600 of you. Welcome. So as you know, especially if you watch Odaiga, and that's happening tomorrow night too, and Lena will be with us, and that'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We have been talking about Boris Johnson, right? And so Boris Johnson resigned. But how many of you think he's not really going away? I don't think we're done hearing about him. Yes, I think he's actually resigning and all that, and he'll be replaced. But I don't think he's actually going anywhere. Let's take a look. Let's see. What's going to happen to Boris? Let's see. What is going to happen to Boris after he actually leaves, right? After he actually leaves. Okay. He actually gets more opportunities, which is what I was seeing. He's like the gift that keeps on giving. The man's going nowhere. Yeah, he is going to keep doing his thing. We're not done hearing about him. He's going to keep juggling and balancing as much as he can, and and especially overseas, right? This has that international feel to it. So maybe he will try to work with other countries, work with other, corporations in other countries, that sort of thing. But I don't think we're done hearing from him. I really don't. Here he is prospecting, Page of Wands. He's trying to, just figure things out. Where do I go to next? That sort of thing. And there are those who are going to support him in the business world. I do think he is going to get some support. So it's like, yeah, I don't think we're done hearing about this man. I really don't. What do you guys think? Because I don't feel his energy like just going all that way. Like I still feel it some. Oh, thank you for your donation, Rosa. Much gratitude. So let's see. Oh, let me see some of your comments. Support from Russia. Yeah, but don't forget, Russia is changing too. Okay? Because Vlad isn't going to be there forever. His days are also numbered. So, oh gosh, yo, Sharon, he can sell 45 bobbleheads. Yikes. So, as you know, Roe versus Wade was overturned, and now it's been codified. The House Dems, passed something without any Republican support, but it needs to pass the Senate, where they're going to need 60 votes, right? And this is where we start to get some problems and all of that. So let's take a look at the future of Roe. Welcome to everyone that's just joining. We're pushing 700 viewers. Fantastic. I know it's a beautiful Friday night, so thank you for joining me, Ooh, cards are jumpy. Okay. So first card. Now, the death card usually doesn't actually mean death, right? It's the card of transition, transformation, change. So it's going to change. It's not going to look the same as it once did, but I do also see down the road that's going to change. I'm just looking at more immediate. I'm not looking at, a year or two down the road. I'm looking at something more immediate. So it's going to change. But it also leaves a lot of people quite unhappy. The challenge, the obstacle is 10 of Cups, the card of peace, love, and happiness, and that sort of thing. So it's going to still cause some misery, is what this card is saying. But action will be had. It's going to move forward. Don't give up, okay? For all of you that, like most of us are very concerned about this, because one of the things that the Dems want to do is make it so that you can legally go to another state if your state doesn't offer it, right? Because like us in New England, it didn't really affect us that much, but there are other states where it's devastating. But of course, too, like I've said before, who does it really affect? It affects the poorer women, the women that don't have the money to go to places like New England. But it will change. It is going to move forward, okay? And then it does stabilize itself. So there will be some balance. And like I said, too, this is a card of pinching pennies, right? So it is going to cause hardship. And the cards are saying it's going to cause hardship. 5 of Pentacles. It is. This is grief, right? Because women aren't going to stop having them. They're not. They're just going to stop having them safely. And this is very emotional. This is an emotional issue. But things are going to change, and we will enter a new cycle. Okay, so there is like a new phase, a new cycle that's coming down the road. Thank you so much, Painting Cat, for your donation. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh, so we have like 700 of you here today. I'm just impressed because I know how beautiful it is here. So thank you for sharing your time with me. I think I got to everything that I was going to get to. Did anybody have any questions for me? Is there something that I can read for you? Because it was going to take more time because I was going to have Andre with me and we were going to be chit-chatting. So does anybody have any questions that I can look at for you? Hi, Lotus. Hi, Marsha. Hi, Trish. Hi, Celtic. Delilah, White Dragon. Terry. Let's see. The future of Brexit. That's a good one. I haven't looked at that one for quite some time, SJ. So let's take a look at that. Me, you, Joe Manchin. Yes. Okay. So let's look at Brexit. Let me write this down because I will never remember. Brexit and then Joe Manchin. Yes, yes. Okay, here we go. Not at this time, Vicki. That's why, like in membership, we do that. For those of you that want to do like the live personal questions in membership for basic level, for about an hour every month, I take as many members as I can. I read their personal questions. And then for like the second and, if you have the top tier, the third tier, you get like many chances to ask questions, right? Because I do it twice for the second and third levels. So yeah. No, that's not true, creating your life consciously. I do personal readings in membership. And I do them in, like on my website, obviously, like to sign up that way. But in membership, I do about 50 members a month. It works out to be about 50 members a month that I read for. Okay, let's see. Brexit. Okay. Yeah, I think it's caused a lot of heartache, a lot of heartbreak, right? I don't think it had the desired effect that some were hoping that it would, obviously. It's caused a lot of misery, hasn't it? And I think in this case, Queen of Swords reversed, they weren't thinking clearly. They also weren't being fair and balanced, moral and just, and all of that sort of thing. I think they were just really thinking of themselves. And it's not working out because we do live in a global society, all of us, not just the UK. And here's the Sword of Truth coming out. So, yeah, I think once they actually examine all of this, I think things are going to literally change. Okay, Knight of Swords, things are literally going to change. So, all right, and let's see, they're going to be changing for the better. Four of Wands. This is a card of like reaching a milestone, having a happy family, things like that. So they're going to change for the better because I think once people are honest, they're going to say, it was an idea ahead of its time. It did not work. Yeah, but Charlie, Boris is leaving. He's not staying. I mean, I heard his speech. We all heard his speech, and he's not staying. I mean, he needs to wait until the next person comes, but he's not staying. Okay, so why don't I finish up with Joe Manchin? We'll take a look at him. How many people, raise your hand if you feel frustrated with Joe Manchin, right? Take a number. Let's see what his future is like. Wait, that was like such a weird comment. What was that? Yeah, see, G. Jordan, when you put things repetitively like that, it will get you flagged. So just keep that in mind. It's not me doing it. YouTube will flag you for that. Oh, I think Andre showed up. So let's take a quick look at Joe Manchin, and then I'm going to let Andre in. I think Joe Manchin's leaving. His obstacle, not having a new beginning, not being overly enlightened. Oh, and look at this, having a tower moment. So good question on that one, guys. Let me let Andre in.
Hi there.
Welcome, Andre.
Hi, nice to see you. Sorry, I thought it was 4:30. My apologies.
No, that's okay. I knew something happened with time, and things happen. Yeah. So that's okay. We're glad to have you.
I've had a bad connection day because all my consults, there were problems with the Wi-Fi and they were dropping out. And anyway, my apologies.
No worries. And I know Canada's been having their fair share of tech issues recently. So
yeah, and there's no Mercury retrograde to blame it on. But But yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
I was wondering, do you have anything to add to, I don't know if you know about this, but the Secret Service, the American Secret Service around the president, deleted text messages from
Mhm.
January 5th and 6th. And I was
Mhm.
wondering if you ever looked at the energy like around the Secret Service or around those 2 days, because they're trying to say it wasn't deliberate and it wasn't malicious. And I think most of us are feeling, I don't know. I'm not so sure.
Well, I mean, what do you think? It looks incredibly suspicious to me, and to me,
Absolutely.
it's part of the it's part of this thing that in Trump's chart, everything is just coalescing. It's just all bad news for the last, you know, number of weeks. You could see this
Yes.
coming. The Jupiter station that is coming at the end of the month is very unfavorable, and so
Uh,
every single thing, something comes up, and then like all of a sudden there's a police guy who saw what Cassidy saw.
yes.
That's not good. That's terrible, because now they're going to get him to say that, and then you can say that people are lying, but I mean, are they all lying? This is like that guy who, remember that lawyer who, when he was,
Cipollone.
no, the other guy, Hirschman, when he was countering the Kraken lady, he said to her, like, he said, well, all the judges are corrupt. And he said, well, like all of them, the ones we put in, like
Right.
every single one. You're left, it's incredulous. The whole thing is crazy. And now the Secret Service, those days,
Hmm.
all of a sudden they disappear. I don't know that you can disappear them, though. I think that those texts are going to show up, because I'm
I
pretty sure
agree.
they end up on a server somewhere. So
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's more, as we go to this last hearing, we're right near where the station is happening. It's just really bad. It's really bad for Trump. So.
It is. And, we were talking about, because I actually did a reading on this about Ivana Trump passing.
Mhm.
And I read on it, not so much for Ivana, but because I was feeling like, for whatever reason, this is going to be like a domino effect. Like from here on out, like it's just going to be one thing after the next for Trump. Like it's just going to keep going, like just
Yeah.
bad news after bad news after bad news. Does
Yes, I
that make
agree.
sense?
It makes total sense. And the thing is, for people who get impatient and think, for example, the way justice works, maybe he doesn't get charged right away. It doesn't matter, because things get worse. Like when you go into
Yes.
next year and the year after, then he has to deal with Saturn. It is really
Uh,
hard. I mean, he's been skating by, but things keep building and building, and it's on cue. I mean, this was being said months ago. Wait till
mhm.
Jupiter moves in and things are going to coalesce. I didn't know that the committee would be starting when they started around
Right.
early June, but it was kind of magical that they did, because it worked
Right.
this way. Yeah, it worked this way precisely to what you would expect, and it's pretty bad. I mean, the stuff that's come out, we knew it all in a way, but we didn't know the
Yes.
details, and the details are horrible. Especially this thing
They
where
are.
he was trying to hide the fact that he was making it happen, and he didn't want all the departments to know. This is what is known now, and
Right.
that is really bad, because that can definitely lead to charges.
Oh,
It's
sure.
yeah. So it's bad. It's bad. I mean, I don't know about
Yeah.
individual service members, because it's often
Right.
hard to get birth times. I looked around for that Ornado character. I don't know where, there's no time,
Right.
but it
Right.
looks really bad. It looks really, really bad.
Well, too, I think Pat Cipollone is just going to be a nightmare for 45. I think it's going to be a nightmare for him. I think
Yeah, yeah.
Cipollone has all this information. He testified for 8 hours. He's corroborating what Cassidy Hutchinson said.
Mhm, mhm.
And that's just what we know. And so I think he's going to be a really big problem for Trump when everything is said and done.
Well,
Do you
already
do you
with
think so?
the little that he said already.
Yeah.
I mean, no, there was a question there where they said, was it possible for him to go up to the podium and do something during those 3 hours? And Cipollone paused and he said, yes, it was possible. I mean,
Ah,
yeah, like that's their election of duty. You're the president of the country. It's your duty to, protect the country. Instead, he was trying to to take the country apart. He sent an armed mob. He knew that they were armed.
yes.
There's so many points. I
Yep.
mean, we didn't know some of these things. That's the thing that we knew. I mean, you can tell with Trump, he's always committing a crime somewhere. But Yeah, I mean, he is. He's always doing something, but we didn't know how focused he was on making this thing happen in the worst possible way. So yeah, it's bad. It's bad, and I know from his chart. His chart is a mess. It's just this coalescing of multiple planets, and it's
Yeah.
going to a worse place. Not to any kind of respite or things getting better. No, no,
That's what I was going to ask. Is there a period where he gets relief, where things start to
no,
go his way?
no,
Because intuitively, like, as a psychic, as a tarot reader, I get no. Like, it just
no.
keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Like, every day it's going to be a new thing.
Exactly, exactly. And he'll try. I mean, the thing with Trump, he is like a cockroach. He will not give up. He's always looking for a way. What can I do? Now, the latest thing about announcing that he's going to run, presumably to, I guess, deflect attention.
Right.
Maybe then say that it's a political hit job. Yeah, but it's a real problem because you see, we're at this place now in the US, I think, where you can't not charge him, because if you don't charge him, you're saying it's okay to, like basically
Right.
run a racket and try to take the country down.
No.
Yeah. And then, like I say, the chart would show you some exit point, something.
Hmm.
There isn't any. There's just persistent, never-ending pressure, and it gets worse next year and the year after. And here's the thing: if as is now very possible because of Roe v. Wade, the
Hmm.
Democrats hang on to the House and the Congress, he's really dead in the water then. He's in so much trouble. Because then first of all, they'll blame him because,
Right.
and this is Trump's thing, by the way. He keeps saying he's a winner. He's a total loser. Everything he touches goes downhill.
Right.
Right?
It
So
does.
if this thing doesn't turn out, and there are good odds that it won't, what's he going to do then? Where's the protection? Where is the anything going into the 2 years, 2023,
Right.
2024? So the thing too is, the one thing that I'm really curious about is this one planet that relates to women. Already Cassidy did
Mm.
enormous damage. I think there'll be other
Yes.
women that are going to pop up to
Oh, why don't
implicate. Yeah, that's
let's
what
take a look at that?
yeah,
'Cause,
let's take a look.
I
Yeah.
think you are correct.
Mhm.
I think she's the tip of the iceberg because she's not alone. She wasn't the only one that saw things and heard things.
Mhm.
And she's
Yeah.
so young that there has to be more senior people that know things, and other people that are young that are probably scared to come forward,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's see. Yeah, see, here's the thing. So they're thinking about it. So two of wands, they're sitting there, they're thinking about it. They're like, oh, should I come forward? Do I want this in my life? Because I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm a little scared for Cassidy Hutchinson and her safety. I hope that they're protecting her.
Mhm.
It has to be terrifying, to be 25 and testifying against the president, but there's others that are thinking about it. They're planning on it. And the obstacle is, I think 45 and the GOP, they're very disillusioned about this. They think that somehow they're going to get away from all of this, that there aren't these other people that are willing to testify. And it's going to become like rats in a sinking ship, where they just all start to come out. And then look at this, we become enlightened. The sun card, we start to become enlightened to all of these facts that, yeah, these women are going to be coming forward. And so I would agree with you on that. I really do. Because like you
Well,
said, I don't think there's any reprieve for him.
no, and that turns out that the connection to astrologically to the revenge of women, he's got this factor in his chart, because it turns out this planet, as luck would have it in his case, bad luck for him, too bad, right?
Right.
It's in an orbit that it moves glacially slow. And this is what took Bill Cosby down. He spent all those
Oh,
years,
is it?
and when this planet moved in, he couldn't get out. And he's still, I don't know if you know about Cosby, he's still dealing with legal problems.
Yes.
He'll
Yeah.
never get out of that. Trump is the same. This thing is going to last the rest of his life. There's no getting out. So right now it's Cassidy, because that's the
Yeah.
thing with the January 5th. But all the other things with women are going to come back to haunt him. This guy's never going to get out of that particular problem. I mean, well, there's Cassidy, there's Liz Cheney, speaking forcefully.
Right.
Clearly. I mean, that's no fun. So it's a theme that will persist. But I'm wondering
Yeah.
if if the committee will come up with another woman that knows something, and to like further drive the female gender thing.
I think so
Deeper.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think so. And I think you raised a good point too, that it may not all just be about the Jan 6 committee, that there's all these other women that have nothing to do with the insurrection, but
Yeah.
there's other things. I just don't ever see any reprieve. I see no letting up. I just see, I don't know why, but I just felt like Ivana's death for some reason just signified like this catalyst that everything just starts to fall apart now for him. Like it's just going to be one thing after the next.
Yeah, and Ivana's death is in his chart as well. Except, and so because that theme, I mean, I've said in a number of my readings that he himself is exposed to dropping dead at any moment. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's how bad it is. He's got all kinds of
I
problems
get
that
that
way.
too.
But he's
Yes.
so corrupt, he immediately started to do fundraising on it. I mean, this man is like, he's like an
Right?
escapee from it's just nuts. The way he lives his life is beyond the pale. Like, it's hard to fathom that a human being could be this, this despicable and corrupt. But there he was right away. Like, it's part of the reason, by the way, with Trump, if you want to know what happened to him, there is no way, like when the election happened and people say, well, yeah, immediately he tried to overturn it. He saw a chance to make money. He's
Yes.
never going to pass up a chance to make money. Once he realized, all I have to do is say this thing is stolen and send me money, he's in, that's it.
Right?
The
It
money
wasn't
will
about
always-
being president. I agree.
Yeah. So I think there's no end to it. No.
But also too, maybe you can speak to this, because I've had so many people in the comments emailing me or clients talking to me saying, oh, I'm so afraid he's going to be president again. And I'm like, there is absolutely 100% no way. Do you get the same thing? I get no way.
I get the same thing. And if you think about it, it's logical, because if he runs, people, in fact, some Republicans have said this, because they think that Biden has no chance to win the next election. And that may be true. We'll see. I'm skeptical that that's true. But the one person he'll definitely beat is Trump. If they put Trump up against Biden, you'll get another massive turnout. And
that would be perfect. You're right.
And by the way, all these ideas about cheating, how do you cheat when you're not in power? The only reason he got close is because he was in power. He could, keep the National Guard from coming in, or he could even, say that they were going to seize voting machines, which is crazy, right? But when you're not in power, how do you seize voting machines? It's very difficult to pull that off.
That's a good point.
So it's, but aside from that, aside from the logic, no, his chart says the total opposite. No, he's toast.
So do you think Biden is going to run again? Because I've always seen like Kamala. I don't know why. I've always seen Kamala in power at some point.
Yeah, my sense of, well, let me put it to you this way. Biden's chart is very good in 24.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what, I mean.
I think people underestimate him. I mean, none of this that's happening is his fault. I mean, the inflation, the gas, I mean, it's not his fault. The pandemic's not his fault.
No, and you can't, if you say, for example, the logic that, well, they should be getting more done. Well, they can't without the Senate and Manchin and Sinema constantly block, right? So, and they can't, because they can't blow away the filibuster. They can't do anything. So Biden his hands are tied. It's just the way it is. You only do so much. And at the moment, and by the way, why are the Democrats even in charge of the Senate? Because of Donald Trump. You remember that Georgia thing? That was Trump.
Right.
Trump made sure that they would not win those seats, because you could see there was a drop off. How is it possible that the numbers for the Republicans in the election were lower when they went to vote? Because he told them that they shouldn't vote. So
exactly. Yeah.
Well, then we wouldn't even be talking about Manchin and Sinema, because McConnell would be running the Senate. So don't blame Biden, in my opinion.
I agree. And here's the thing. So I get, the 8 of Cups reversed. He's not going anywhere. I really don't think he is. I think Biden's not going anywhere. He's not retreating or pulling back. This is like in the obstacle position. And then I literally get my Biden card for the outcome of whether he's going to run or not. I literally get, because that's the King of Cups is my Biden card. So I think he is. I really do. I know some people have been kind of questioning that and questioning his abilities, but I I see him running again, and I certainly do not see 45 in power ever again. I have so many people worried about this, and
Yeah, and one of the patterns that you see in the astrology, I've made a couple of videos about this. In fact, one I remember doing one in the summer of 21, like more than a year ago, where I saw these really great aspects at election time for Biden. And I just asked the question, why is Biden so happy in November and December? Why? Right. And, my obviously surmising that he'd probably do well in that election, because if you lose either the House or the Senate, it makes it problematic. But the other thing is that he's been the whole time since he got into office, and this happens to politicians quite a bit. He's had a lot of Saturn pressure, and Saturn is all kinds of problems, when you're in a high level position. But one of the ways Saturn is around, if you're his age, is that people will keep accusing you of being too old, right? Because Saturn is the old planet. Makes sense. But it's kind of suspicious to see that as we go into 23 next year, Saturn switches signs to a much more favorable sign for Biden. It goes into Pisces.
Oh, really?
Scorpio. Yeah. So then you think, well, why again? Things would never get easier if they lose the House and the Senate, if they lose even the House. So why is that? Why are those cycles changing?
Yes.
So I'm thinking things get smoother. Right. And that's the only way I can go with the planetary movements, and we'll see. But I'd be optimistic. And then when you go into the 24 period, it looks quite good. I mean, it looks that would be the kind of chart that I would want if I were running for president at that time.
Oh, okay. And and I always say too, because I am a dementia practitioner. And so many people assume just because, Biden's older, he has dementia. Mm. And I've said so many times, he does not have the signs. He has the signs of having a speech impediment. Right. 45 has the signs of having some dementia related issues. I mean, he's very delusional. I wouldn't be surprised if he was hallucinating. He's done very strange things with his speech patterns that he never used to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, ageism is definitely real. And, and we did talk about, I did a live not too long ago about how maybe we should start testing just every president mentally, giving them some mental fitness tests.
You mean
because then maybe
person, woman, camera, TV?
Well, that is such a basic. That's the Montreal test, right? I mean, I have literally administered that test to people who have lived in lockdown units for more than 10 years, and they were able to pass it. So it's a useless test. Because first of all, it uses your long-term memory. So the fact that he was able to pass it means nothing. But I've always seen too that if push comes to shove, I could picture 45 down the road saying that he had some kind of dementia, that he wasn't responsible for any of this, because in reality, dementia sets in 10 years before you show signs. And then you have to hire somebody like me to go on the stand and say, well, yeah, he actually could have, 10 years before. And then it always comes down to, well, is he culpable for what he has done? And it's very messy. It's a very gray area, but I could picture him where he's so weaselly doing that.
Yeah, well, he can try, but I don't know. I mean, there's so many evidence points, and in the end, he's pretty sloppy, because what he did there, he left all kinds of trails, and it's kind of makes sense that probably one of the worst places to commit crimes is within government, where they record everything. I mean, think about that whole thing they did with the fake electors. They sent it to the National Archives. Think about that. That's like the gang that can't shoot straight. You're sending the evidence they're going to archive it. So then they're going to use it and say, well, you were trying to do this. And what's the excuse? It's on paper,
it just doesn't make sense.
No, it's like trying to commit a crime in a police station. It's not the best place to do it, right? Place. No, but he was really desperate, and I think you're right. Sure. I think that when you look at Trump, the way he used to be, he was always a weasel. But I'm pretty sure if you go back to, say, 2005 Trump, I don't think he would have tried this. I think he would have known how crazy it was. But he's at a point where his mind is
He's
is declining.
delusional. He is declining. Yeah, he really
he's
is.
declining, right. Yeah.
So Steve Bannon, oh my gosh. So he tried to, because he's being held in contempt, with Congress. And he tried getting it delayed, but the judge tossed it out and said, no, Monday is the day. You're going to have to testify. You have to come in. And I just don't see anything good happening for Steve Bannon. I don't think this is going to go well for him.
No, there's no birth.
Have you looked at him?
Yeah, there's no birth time, but even without a birth time, it goes all the way through next year, the pressure. And you never like to see Saturn pressure when you're being basically investigated, or especially when, you look from the outside and you see clear culpability. I mean, the man is, by the way, I don't know if you heard that thing that leaked, that audio. I mean, that's incredible, because that audio implicates Trump. See, you start to get all these points where you go, well, why were you saying that? What was that about? You saying that Trump is, because, and by the way, it's not mysterious, because we all saw that Trump did this in 2020. He was saying the votes are going to be rigged, and we knew. But now there is Biden saying, oh, he'll do, or I mean, Messi Steve saying, well, he's just going to say that he won, and then he'll fire Ray, and he never has to face the voters again. In audio,
that something.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. So you don't want to see he's an early Sagittarius. So when you're early Sagittarius, the early Saturn in Pisces all through 2023 is pressuring that sun. And Sagittarius is a law sign, and he's breaking the law. So how am I supposed to interpret that? Not good. And then there's a possibility that he may be born, although I'm conflicted about this. Someone said 9:30 p.m. and he sort of has a Leo rising look. What I don't like about that chart is that it gives him a Moon in Virgo, and Moon in Virgo people tend to be more tidy because he's kind of a sloppy, messy. So I'm wondering if maybe he may be Moon in Leo, which is earlier than that, and it would match from ascendant and fit a little bit better. But it doesn't matter, because the sun, we know, is there no matter what, and that's a really bad 2023. And even if he's in trouble now, chances are it would go into next year, because these legal things always take a long time. They postpone.
They do. They get dragged out.
So he's.
But I also get really poor health. Do you ever get poor health with him? Because he's quite sickly. I always get like high blood pressure, heart issues. He doesn't seem like he looks or feels well to me.
Well, that I didn't even consider, but I'll just say this. The older you are, the more whatever you're doing to your body will show up on Saturn transits. So they're the worst, where if you don't injure something or break something, then you get something like to your joints, arthritis, or just literal, things falling apart in a major way. So yeah, I mean, he doesn't look healthy at all. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
No.
Thank you, Nora, for your donation. That's very kind. Maybe we could finish up talking about Boris Johnson, because a lot of people are thinking he's not truly going to go away. And I think, I mean, he's resigned. He'll go when the new one comes in, but I don't think we're done hearing about him anytime soon. I think he's going to keep being Boris Johnson.
Well, I mean, probably, but I think his career is almost certainly over. I had thought that he might last a little longer than he did, based on what I knew. But now that it's happened, he's another one that the upcoming cycles of major planets going into next year, the year after, they're very negative. You always look at it in context. Once you've been forced to resign, you need really good energy to get out of that somehow and be relevant.
Sure.
It's not there. It's just not there. And by the way, he got caught, the planet involved, for lying, which is the same thing Trump is facing. And in Britain, they actually have a system that is, clean enough. They said, it's because you've been lying too much. Now, some people then said, well, he's been lying for years, so why did you do it now? Final straw, what he did with that person that he put in the job, knowing that they were sexual, whatever. I mean, he's pretty corrupt.
He is. I mean, there's a lot of similarities, I think, between 45 and Boris. I think they're almost two peas in a pod, I think. But I think England has a better system.
I mean, Boris is, the system that he's in also doesn't permit as much. But yeah, they're both Geminis too. It's interesting that it's that same sign.
Ah,
Like Gemini can be really duplicitous. I'm not, whoever's watching this,
right,
don't start making comments about, oh my God, I'm born on the same day. That doesn't mean you're
right,
like
right.
that. Okay?
No, no,
It doesn't work
no.
like that. But it's like you see with signs and planets, people express them on different levels, and there's no doubt that these two, are piecing apart around being duplicitous. To them, truth and lies are almost the same thing. They just say whatever's on their mind, and it's the truth of the moment for them, which is almost never true. It's whatever they make up. So yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Miss Mo, for your donation. Oh, everyone's been so kind tonight. I'm just so impressed because it's a beautiful Friday night here, and like we have almost 1,000 people that came out to join us
Oh,
tonight.
nice,
So
nice.
I know, right? So I'm very grateful.
Mhm.
So we're coming up on the hour. Um, so your channel is Astrology Alert, correct?
Astrology alert, yes.
So if people want to check you out,
Yeah, if you type astrology alert, I'm pretty sure there's only one, so it'll be
yeah, I
me.
think so. Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us. I'm glad you were able to make it.
That was a
And
pleasure. Sorry that I was late.
no
Yeah,
worries.
got for some of my mind said 4:30, and then oh my God, it was 4. My apologies.
We'll blame it on the full moon. It
Yeah,
throws everybody off.
actually, how did you find the full moon? Because what is your sign again? You're Capricorn, right?
I'm
Or
Aquarius.
Aquarius. Okay, but the full moon was kind of near Aquarius. Did you find it? I found that I had a lot of trouble sleeping during the full moon.
And I don't usually have this problem. I actually had nightmares.
Oh,
I actually had some nightmares that woke me up, which
mm,
isn't, yeah, so I definitely had sleep issues, and that isn't like me. I usually just sleep and do what I ever want to do on the astral plane, but it's usually pleasant. But I actually had some nightmares for the first time in a long time.
yeah, and this is where you can see that even though the full moon was in Cancer Capricorn, but it's near enough. It was toward the latter part of Capricorn, so it's close enough to Aquarius that the moon is really full even when it enters Aquarius. So it's going to affect Aquarius too potentially. That's why it
Really?
got you, and the full moon is famous for high energy, but also
Hmm.
things like this where you can't sleep or yes, like nightmares, excessive
Yeah.
something, so, but we're
Not
past it now.
enjoying it. Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, right.
yeah.
So this should be a good night's sleep. I'm looking forward to just having a nice cup of tea and going to bed.
Right, right.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Andre, for joining me. And thank you, all of you, for coming out tonight. I know it's summer and it's beautiful out and all that, but thank you for spending time with us, and thank you for all the donations. So have a beautiful weekend, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.